everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm really excited about this video because today I'm going to share my top 5 favorite coloring books of 2023. Now I've done a video like this the last couple years. I think I've done 2 or 3 of them now, and usually I'll do my top 10 favorite coloring books. But in those videos I would share a lot of my all-time favorite coloring books. But this year I went through my coloring book collection and there were 5 that really stood out to me. And to be able to choose another 5, again, I would have to go to some of my all-time favorite coloring books. And if you've seen those previous videos, you probably already know what some of those are. So this video this year is going to be just my top 5. If I were to go to my coloring book collection and want to color something, these are the books that I would choose and know that I'm going to find something right away that I just want to sit down and color. If you check the description box down below, I'll have links down there for my email list, my Facebook group, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you'd like to support me there. I also now have channel membership. If you would like to find more information out about that, you can click the join button down below this video. Okay, so these coloring books I'm going to share in this video are not in any particular order. I will also at the end of the video have one honorable mention like I have done every other year. So this first one is Romantic Country. This is the first tale. And again, this is one that would be one of the first ones that I go to if I were to color something. Now this is a brand new uncolored copy of this book. I have several copies of this book because it is one of my favorites. I think I have like 3 copies and then the one that I color in all the time. And I do that just in case they are not available anymore, because that has been the case with one of the Romantic Country books in this series. It is unavailable, and probably the only place you can get it is on Etsy. Now the paper in this book is a bit of an off-white, but I really do like it. It is a smoother paper with a very little bit of tooth, but as you can see, the images in this book are absolutely adorable. And the artist actually drew all of the images in this book with a toothpick, which is really interesting to me because you've got to have a really steady hand to be able to do that. I just wanted to flip through just a little bit to show you some of the images, but in this one you're even going to get some holiday themed pages. Here we have a Christmas tree, and then there's lots of pages in this book that have the little individual items on it. And I absolutely love these pages because these are perfect for me. Since I do YouTube tutorials, I can just pick one individual image on the page and I can use it for a tutorial. It's also fantastic if you're a beginner and you just want to practice small little images and just get something quickly colored, maybe practice your blending techniques. But there are a few pages like that in here. Even on the full pages, like this one for instance, there's lots of little individual things that you can color. This one looks like a bakery, so you've got lots of different breads that you can color and practice putting colors together and practice your blending techniques. And then we have a Halloween page. So this one does have some themed pages. We had the Christmas tree, now the Halloween. Here's another page where there's lots of just individual pieces on here, and again, I love those pages. This one's just a bunch of different Easter eggs. I actually colored this one for a tutorial. So I went and grabbed my book where I colored this one, but here it is uncolored, and then here it is colored, but I just did a tutorial showing how to make the bunny look like a little silhouette using gel pens. And again, here was another one. This was a tutorial on how to use oil-based pencils. I did this with polychromos. I will say the pencils that work absolutely wonderfully in this book are the polychromos. Prismacolors work really well in this book on this paper, but lately I really prefer the polychromos. They go down so beautifully in this book. But if you check on my channel, you can see that I've done lots of tutorials in this coloring book. This was one on how to use fine liners in your coloring books, and I showed how to do this really cool grass technique. But I just love this coloring book. Here's another page with lots of individual things on it that you can color. These are super, super cute little cats and dogs. And this is the current one that I am coloring right now. I started this the other day when I had to take my husband to the hospital to have a procedure. We do that quite a lot lately. But this is the one that I sat in the lobby and worked on. I'm doing this with polychromos, and I love the way that it's turning out. I feel like I was really able to make all of these bricks look pretty realistic, and I'm having a lot of fun with this page. But this is again polychromos, And like I said, I just really love using my polychromos in this book. But this book is just going to be filled with lots of different scenes that look like it's from the inside of a castle, like this page here. And then here's another one that looks like it's from the inside of a castle. And then it says, "Welcome to Fancy Afternoon Tea." I just absolutely love these pages. And then we have the outside of the castle. And then here's the page I showed you in the other book that I've colored in, and you can see what it looks like uncolored where I had colored the grass. But this book is just a whole lot of fun. I absolutely love it. My next favorite for this year is Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. And I know if you're watching this video right now, you are so used to seeing World of Flowers. And that is my all-time favorite coloring book still. But like I said, I have not done a whole lot of coloring in World of Flowers this year, which is really surprising to me because I have been picking and choosing other books when I want to sit down and color. But this is a fabulous book, and it's really cool how it has a theme of keys, and on every one of the pages you're supposed to search for the little key. You can see right here there's a little keyhole. But I really love this book. I know when this book first came out, everybody was really upset because the paper had been changed and she had used the paper that is in the Kirby Rosanis books, which everybody really loves that paper, so I don't understand what the big thing was, but I guess it was just because everybody loved the paper Johanna had used in her books previously, and she was kind of forced to change the paper because that paper was no longer available. But I have come to really, really love this paper. I did this with Crayolas. The Crayolas work beautifully on this paper. I absolutely love them. But again, you've got all of these little individual objects. If you want to practice, a lot of times with my coloring classes when I'm teaching, we'll pull out this book and this is the page we use for practice. But this is a really, really great page to practice your blending techniques with your colored pencils. But Prismacolors work really well in this book as well. You've got lots of wallpaper type pages in this book, like this one here. This is absolutely beautiful. And it's just really fun how you've got all the little hidden keys, like right here. Here's a little key on this one. But it's fun to go through some of the pages and try to find the keys. This again was another tutorial. This was done with, I think, polychromos. I think it was part polychromos and part Prismacolor. I was testing out some of the pencils in this book. I'll link that video in the upper right hand corner so you could check it out, so you could see what pencils performed better on this paper. But I'll flip through some of the other pages just so you can see. But this book is a lot of fun. Again, this one here was done with Crayolas. There is a tutorial on that one that I was just experimenting with something. I don't even remember what I was doing. I was definitely doing an experiment, I think, on the wings. This one I am still working on. This one did have a couple of videos, but I really need to finish this one. I actually had totally forgotten about it. I'm not going to do a complete flip through the rest of it because there is a flip through of this book on my channel, but that is Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. And number 3 would be Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlson. I absolutely love this book. I've been picking this one up a lot more lately. I think I've always picked this one up if I want to look for something to color. But this is my absolute favorite out of all of the Hannah Carlson books. It was not hard at all for me to choose just one from this artist because this one is definitely my favorite. You've got your This Book Belongs To page. The paper is sort of an off-white. It is also a smoother paper with just a very little bit of tooth. And I feel like Hannah Carlson's artwork is different from anyone else. Like a lot of artists, you'll look at their artwork and there's somebody else that looks a little bit similar. But Hannah Carlson, I feel like, is very, very unique. And I absolutely love when artists are very, very unique and you can look at their artwork and tell exactly who the artist is. But I really love Hannah Carlson mostly for her bottles and her gemstones. You can see here she's got some crystals coming out of the bottoms of the mushrooms. Here's a gemstone I colored that I was just playing around, trying to practice coloring my gemstones. And you'll probably see a lot of that in my books where I've just experimented with something or tried to do something. But this is one of my books where I have used lots of different mediums. This one has so many different things on it. This one is mainly Prismacolors, but it does have lots of glitter on it. And I think that I probably used a little bit of gel pen. I really can't remember. I know that I used Posca. I'm almost positive that the background is Neo Colors, but I don't really remember. I would have to go back and check out that video. There is a full color along for this page with lots of really great tutorials I showed how to draw in the liquid to make these look like potion bottles with the bubbles. And I showed how to do this one where the bottle is leaning sideways, and so it looks like the liquid inside the bottle is laying to the side as well. But all of what I tried to make look like potions inside the potion bottles, those are all drawn in. But this one was so much fun. Like I said, she has lots of gemstones in this book, and those are my favorite things. This is another one I colored. I colored this one way before I started doing YouTube. And it's actually because of this page that I started YouTube. Because I shared this page in my Facebook group and everybody wanted to see a tutorial on these bubbles. So I made a tutorial on the bubbles, just a short one, and shared it in my Facebook group. And so from there, that's where I ended up doing YouTube. So this page is actually why I started doing YouTube videos. So this page definitely has a special place in my heart. But now there is on my channel an actual full tutorial for the bubbles, and I'll link that in the upper right hand corner so you could check it out. But this is just one of my favorite books. This one you've probably seen. I just shared this one in one of my recent videos where I shared all my completed coloring pages. But I just really love this book, and I have for a very long time. So that's Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlson. And if you've been watching my channel for quite some time, you are probably waiting to see a book by Maria Trolle. These have been my go-to books this year, and I will say it was very difficult to choose just one because I love so many of her books, but I went with this one because this is the one that I have loved for the longest before I even started coloring in some of her other books. But this is Botanicum by Maria Trolle. I love everything about these books. I love the images. I love the paper. The paper is smoother with a very little bit of tooth, and it is an off-white, but this paper works beautifully with so many different pencils. I've used my square brute fooners in this book. I've used my Prismacolors. I've used my Polychromos and my Crayolas. I've just used so many different pencils in this book. Most all of them have worked just fine, but she has the most beautiful artwork. Look at this gorgeous peacock. You're going to have lots of flowers and lots of leaves. And then one thing I love about this book is that you always know what kind of insect you're coloring or what kind of tree you're coloring or what kind of plant you're coloring, because there is a glossary in the back of the book that tells you exactly what it is you're coloring. So if you want to color something and make it look realistic, you can certainly do that. Or you can color it however you want. But as far as these books go, I know that I could pull this book right out of my bookshelf, and I know that I will open it up and find something that just screams, color me. And that is the one reason that I absolutely love this book. But I do, again, probably have, I think, 3 different copies of this book. Yeah, I think I have 3 copies, and 2 out of 3 copies are colored in. This one here was a full color along. I could link that in the upper right-hand corner. The background is actually Distress inks. There's a lot of Posca on that page. I did a tutorial on how to color fur, but this one was a lot of fun. I just really love most all of the images in these books. To consider something one of my favorites, it does have to have probably half of the book where I would actually want to color it. Oh, and the other pencils that work fabulously in this book is Derwent Inktense. This was done with Derwent Inktense. I had so much fun doing this one. I would say that lately, the color alongs that I have on my channel, most all of them are from a Maria Trolle book. Here, again, I was experimenting with something. I think that's watercolors. Here, again, I was experimenting with fur and just trying to color the little mouse. But I do that a lot in my coloring books, just try to practice my techniques. And I feel like that is important for most all of us. And even if there's one individual little item on a page that you feel like you can practice your techniques, your blending techniques, whether you want to create fur, color hair, no matter what it is, if you're using a different set of pencils, like say you want to try out your Derwent Inktense, I think it's really great to sit down and just practice on one page. And that's why I feel like it's so important to have a second copy of your favorite coloring books, because if you practice on one page, you always have a copy of that page to go back and try again. Or if you mess up on something, the same thing, you have another page to go back and color it again. But this one was done all with Derwent Inktense. I love the way that it turned out. The background is pan pastels. There is a full color along for this one on my channel, and I'll link that one in the upper right hand corner if you're interested. But like I said, most all of my color alongs most recently that I have put up on my channel, they have all been from a Maria Trolle book. I just love Maria Trolle's books. But I will say that Botanicum is my absolute favorite. This is Balloom by Deborah Muller, and this one has been another one of my favorites for 2023. I absolutely love the images in this book. It was my favorite portrait book this year. Now, you're not going to see any coloring in this one because when I color something from this book, I actually print it out onto my favorite paper, and I will show you that a little bit further into the book. But this one is an Amazon printed book, and Deborah Muller does also have an Etsy shop where you can purchase the PDFs and then you can print on any paper that you want. But the Amazon books do have the one-sided pages, so that is really great. And the paper is actually not that bad. It is a thinner paper, but it does have a little bit of tooth, and I love using my Prismacolors when I'm coloring on this paper in the Amazon printed books. Now, here is the image that I did actually color, and this is colored on my favorite paper. If you've been watching my videos for some time now, you know that I love the tone tan paper, but look at the difference. This is what it looks like uncolored. This is what it looks like after it's colored. This one was done with Holbein's, and I absolutely love it. I had so much fun coloring this one. But I actually printed out another one from this book. This is the one that I plan on coloring next. I plan on pulling out my Holbeins again and just having fun with those because the colors in that set, I have the 150 set, and the colors in that set are just absolutely amazing. But I really loved this image. All the beautiful flowers on here. I'm excited to color her hair a very different color. Like in this one, I did purple hair, and this one, I might do teal hair. I don't know, or maybe some kind of rainbow hair or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to try to get really creative with this page. But all of the portraits in this book are just absolutely beautiful, and they're all very different from portraits that you would get from another artist. Like I said, I love artists that are unique, and you can look at their artwork and say, hey, that's Deborah Muller, or hey, that's definitely Hannah Carlson. But I feel the same way about Deborah Muller. Her artwork is also very unique, like Hannah Carlson's artwork. But these are all super cute. I believe that every single one, or almost every single one, has some kind of animal or like a butterfly or something else. It's not just a portrait. Like this one's a portrait, and then you've got the cat. This one's a portrait, and she's got some snails in her hair. Is that super cute? I love it. This one is just flowers. This one here, again, she has a little bird down here tangled up in her hair. That's so pretty. But yeah, some of them have like a little animal or some kind of creature in the hair. This one has a little bird up here. Look how cute. Oh my goodness. If you want to color hair, this is definitely a great book. Or if you want to practice your skin tones, this is definitely a fantastic book to pick up. All of the images are very different from one another. All of the faces on every single portrait have a different expression. They're all just very, very unique. Here's the one that I printed out on the tone tan paper. But look at what a difference it is on the tone tan paper compared to the white paper. And when you put your colored pencils down on here, especially if you want to use a lot of white, or even like a bright yellow, it pops off the page. It is so fun to do. But I just absolutely love this book. And Deborah has so many different books, so many different themes of coloring books. She definitely has something for everyone. But if you're curious about the tone tan paper that I use, this is the paper that I use. I'll link it down in the description box so that you can easily find it. But this is actually 9 by 12 paper, and so I do have to use my paper cutter and cut it down to 8.5 by 11. But that is super easy to do. And the paper is all perforated, so it's very easy to tear out, and you're not going to get any jagged edges or anything. But I absolutely love this paper. It is a thinner paper, and it does have a little bit of tooth, but it is a paper that you want to use if you don't want to spend a whole lot of time laying down layer after layer after layer. It will take some layers, but it's not going to take as many layers as something like the Spring Hill paper that I usually recommend. But if you want to print out your pages, this is a fabulous paper to do it on. And again, this is Balloom Flower Girl Portraits by Deborah Muller, and it is definitely one of my favorites this year. And then my honorable mention is Flora by Maria Trolle. I love this book. Like I said, it was very hard for me to choose just one Maria Trolle book because I absolutely love her books. I love her artwork. I love the paper in these books. I absolutely love the images in the books. And I know that when I pull out a Maria Trolle book, I'm definitely going to find something right away that I just want to sit down and color. Again, we have lots of birds, just like you saw in Botanicum. I absolutely love how this turned out. This was a little bit different for me because I used much more muted colors when usually I use a lot of bright, vibrant colors. But I wanted to mix some colors that I normally wouldn't mix together. I especially did that here on the little porch that comes all the way around the treehouse. I used very different colors that I would never normally put together. But again, it's a lot of the same of what you would see from Maria Trolle, the girls, the trees, the flowers. You do have some of these pages with the black backgrounds. I don't think I showed you in the other book, but here's the glossary I was referring to in the back of the book. This is all of the different plants, and it does have all of the page numbers. And if you're wondering why, when you see my Maria Trolle books, I always have these little tabs on here with the little numbers, it's because I'm marking the page number so that if I want to see the scientific name for the plant or the insect that I'm coloring, it makes it much easier for me to go to that page and then just count the next few pages so that I know exactly what page I'm on. But these are all of the plants on every single page. And then this is the birds, the insects, and the amphibians register. So you always know exactly what you're coloring. And if you want to color something so that it looks super realistic, you can do that in this book, which is one of the things in this book that I find really, really cool. And then there are some seasonal things in this book, like here you're going to find a pumpkin. It's a lot of the same what you would see in her other books, just different variations of it. And you've got the black backgrounds on the pages. These birds would look absolutely beautiful once they're colored. If you did them in beautiful, bright, vibrant colors with the black background, that would be absolutely amazing. But that was my honorable mention, Flora by Maria Trolle. Okay, y'all, so those were my top 5 favorite coloring books of 2023. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Everything you've seen in this video I will have linked down in the description box below so that you can easily find it. So in the comments below, let me know what your 5 favorite coloring books of 2023 are. I'd love to see. And I think that's really neat when others can look through the comments and see the suggestions, and then they can go look up the coloring books and see if it's a coloring book that they would enjoy too. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.